Well, boys, looks like you started the fun without me.
You're all sick. Every last one of you.
We're going to need a bigger gun.
What's the matter? You scared of things that go boom, boom?
Give me one goddamn reason why I shouldn't blow your goddamn brains all over that goddamn wall.
Oh, hi, Tension.
My name is Eric, and I'm here. That was Michael.
Yeah.
And we got a fucking show today.
Yeah, we do.
Can I be honest with you? I am so excited for the show.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So, we're doing some movies. What are the movies?
We're going to do High Tension and Wolf Creek.
Fuck, I have been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long to do both of these, and I didn't even know about both of them. I've been waiting a long time to do High Tension. I'd actually never seen High Tension.
I had.
And and you were a little lackluster on it. And we're going to get to that. But High Tension, an awesome movie, right?
High Tension, yeah, great movie.
Me, you, and the ending of High Tension are going to have a little chat.
That's right.
But we're doing High Tension, and we're doing Wolf Creek as well. So I'd like to let everyone know we're going to spoil it.
Yeah,
That's probably a good thing to do. We're going to spoil the ending of High Tension because we need to talk about that fucking ending. And you know what? If you usually disregard this notice and you listen anyways, I'm going to say that us telling you the ending will probably ruin the film because you're going to view it way different than you would a normal.
It ruins the movie.
Yeah, it's a Splat Pack extravaganza here today.
That's what we're doing today.
And some people are going to go, "Oh, Splat Pack, I don't care if I hear how people get mauled. I'm still going to watch it. It'll be great." But you watch it different the second time around. So at least fucking see it. So you know what? You haven't seen it now. Skip, use chapters, go directly to Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek, that's another spoiler one, man. We're going to spoil that movie, I would say exactly 3 times. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, 3 times sounds about right.
So let's just get into High Tension.
Okay.
I feel like I have a lot to say about High Tension, although most of it is, wow, look how amazing this is.
Right.
Do you mind if I geek out on you for just a second?
Please.
Well, we've seen on the show a lot of times movies with subtitles. This is oddly the first time we've watched anything with subtitles on the second generation Apple TV. It seems like most of the time we watch stuff on subtitles, it's on your DVDs.
Right.
And we just play them through the Xbox and we get the nice giant subtitles. So the movie's in 2-3-5-1. And I have I don't know if I've ever told you this. A lot of the movies I enjoy with subtitles, I will often watch, I kid you not, without the subtitles. Because I'm a cinematography person. And a lot of foreign movies I really like for the cinematography. I've seen them a bunch. I watch them without the subtitles so I can get the whole frame. It's just it's a weird thing, and if there's stuff at the bottom of the frame, I feel like I'm missing out on something. On the new Apple TV, and especially because of the aspect ratio, we were able to watch it with these tiny subtitles, so I could see every brilliant fucking pixel of this movie. I am so excited about that. So who's the dude? Who made this?
This is Alexander Aha's first film. It's also, I think, the first one that he actually had anything to do with the writing of.
Sure.
Oh, we talked about him when we did The Hills Have Eyes. We talked about him when we did P2.
Yeah.
He also did Piranha 3D, which came out over summertime. And he's involved with another Kiefer Sutherland movie that no one's allowed to hear
lots
about.
of stuff. Doing lots of stuff.
Busy guy.
And this has to be of the people we've talked about in the infamous Splat Pack. We should go ahead just once more for recognition's sake.
Yeah.
We're talking about Mr. Robert Zombie.
Yes.
We're talking about Eli Roth. Who else is in this glorious Splat Pack?
Well, Neil Marshall, Doomsday, Descent, Dog Soldiers.
Excellent.
The Saw guys. James Wan and the Leigh McNeil or whatever his name is.
Darren Lynn Bousman.
And then Darren Bousman, who's the third Saw guy.
Yeah, right.
Who also did Repo, which we talked about on the show.
Which is oddly probably not a Splat Pack film.
Right.
But while we're talking about stuff like Doomsday, we might as well just throw Repo in there too.
Alex Aha, who is High Tension, and Greg McLean, who is Wolf Creek. But Alex Aha, of all of them, I think is the poster child for super gore.
Oh my
God! If I can go ahead
brutal.
and say that.
For people who may be familiar with some of the other stuff we've covered and just kind of veered away from the foreign stuff, the Splat Pack is essentially the foreign extension of old school American horror. And that's not always true. We've had a lot of things that counteract that right away. We have stuff like Saw, lots of sequels. We have The Hills Have Eyes, clearly a remake. And we have this movie, which is foreign.
Yeah.
So while it's not a Japanese one, it is
Mirrors is
foreign.
a Japanese one.
Yeah, so there. Doesn't count. Does not count fulfilling the old school American horror genre classification. However, if you're into that stuff, this is the shit right here. This is completely it. And Alexander's stuff especially is just so much more brutal than everything. It is so fucking brutal. And that's really what I want to focus on, is that brutality today, because I feel like High Tension, it just needs to be applauded. It's so hard for the brutality and the way it treats that, and especially when you start watching a lot of horror movies, you become immune to the gimmicks.
Yep.
You just start, well, maybe it's just us, but I don't know, we're watching these things and we're reading into how they're done, and we're looking at...
when they cut away.
Yeah, right. When they cut away, when they choose not to cut away, what they're trying to tell us. And so much of it is looking at something and say, that's an effective scare shot. Well, good job for that. You dropped a car from the top of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
We can look at it, we can say that would be really scary, but very rarely are we caught off guard. All throughout High Tension, you can attest to this. I was squealing and throwing stuff around, and it was upsetting me greatly. It's not even so much scare shots, just stuff that makes my body twist into knots, which is exactly what it's going for. And it is so goddamn refreshing to find that, when I'm watching so much stuff in the same kind of genre, it hasn't become stale. I can still get that out of that genre. Somebody can still push it even further than, so many other people before them. So many other people after them even. We're talking about a movie from, 2003, right?
Yeah, it came out in 2003.
And so now we start to see all of these things we've talked about and how they're drawing from a movie like High Tension, which I think is probably fair to say because it was a pretty notable movie. It's a pretty popular movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a big deal when it came out, and that 2003 was kind of when all of the bullshit horror movies kind of started coming out. There's a film that comes to mind called The Ruins, which I, of course, contradict myself right away by saying bullshit horror movies and I'm about to say that The Ruins is actually kind of enjoyable.
Yeah, right.
But that doesn't, it still fulfills the idea of, wow, let's make a bunch of gory movies where teens get fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it was an era of horror, right? Those were some sweet years for horror.
Yeah, there were also some terrible years.
That's true too. That's true too.
That's why the Splat Pack matters, is because they managed to come out with films that shone amongst the crap.
Yes.
That came out during that.
Well, they pushed the brutality past the level where it was usually acceptable, and they had a lot of new ideas about that stuff. And I think in the same way when we talk about old school American horror being, all right, here's all the sequels are coming out, all the Japanese shit's coming out, let's just do something new and fresh. The Splat Pack a couple years before it was saying, all right, we're getting a lot of shit, but this is still, we can still make a movie that appeals to producers, that appeals to audiences, and push it even further than audiences knew they even wanted to go. And so I look back and I hear you when you say, that bullshits kind of era, those few years of horror. Sure. Because I think about the 80s slasher stuff the same way. How many times have we talked about bullshit 80s slasher movies that we love? Yeah. I mean, so much, they're all bullshit 80s slasher movies, with the exception of, Black Christmas. Sure. After Black Christmas, all slasher movies are kind of bullshit. Pretty much. And we love them to death.
The thing that kind of happened in 2003 around then that you can pretty much use as a general indicator of whether it's good bullshit or bad bullshit is 2003 is about when Michael Bay started trying to make horror movies.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
I believe that's the Texas Chainsaw remake was actually in 2003. If Michael Bay's involved, chances are it's crap.
Yeah, that's not bullshit.
He's done some okay horror stuff. Right. The Hitcher, for example.
Yeah, sure.
But for the most part, steer clear of Michael Bay remakes. Everything else is good bullshit.
Amen to that. So speaking of bullshit, we start out the movie with a flying tom-tom.
That's right.
And unfortunately, we have to come back to the flying tom-tom.
Yeah, the rule of flying tom-tom is tom-tom has to hit the ground.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We maybe need to explain that once again.
Without spoiling the movie.
The rule of the flying tom-tom from the $1 Million Hotel and REC show we did is that in the beginning of the movie, something is happening, oh my God, take a look at it, and then we just restart our time clock, 2 weeks earlier or whatever. And then toward the end of the movie or the climax or in the third act or whatever, we come back to that scene and you think, oh yeah, that scene was in the movie. Now I remember, and it's cyclical and awesome and
splat.
Snore. So that's the flying tom-tom, and we're going to get one of those here. The thing that I probably like the most about High Tension, and it's hard because I love almost everything about High Tension, the visuals. Yeah. And man, I mean, just through the whole fucking movie. And we see this all the time with the French shit, right? We saw this with, with Inside. I said the same fucking thing. And even when we talked about something like Amelie, I was talking about, Jean-Pierre Jeunet and all the great, wonderful colors and weird shit that he was
I noticed
doing.
you're shirking Martyrs, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume you're talking about Martyrs, too.
You know what's funny is I figured I'd be name-dropping Martyrs 1,000 times in this show that I was just going to save it. But Martyrs, too. Martyrs, the exact same thing. And so we get the first scene I really loved was the setup of that swing shot, when she's outside. And so much of this is still establishing in the movie's own little way. There's not a lot of establishing here, and that's one of the things I should definitely credit it for. But just the way you have that spotlit swing, you notice it when she's walking up to it, that, everything is dark, and that's always something, we see that throughout both of these movies. How do you light a completely dark set? It's supposed to be dark out. Is there moonlight? Is there ambient light from a house far away? What do you do? And this movie, it's ballsy. It just says there's a spotlight on this fucking swing because they put a light above their swing, and that's just what they're doing. But when she's sitting there, you have her walking over to that tiny pool of light, and then the swing just moves in and out of it. And it's stuff like that that really helps build the anticipation. She has that hood over her face. You can barely see her eyes. You feel like something ominous is going to happen, and most of that is just due to technique.
Yep.
I mean, part of it is she's on a swing outside a cornfield in the middle of the night, and that's kind of fucking scary. Which, by the way, why was Children of the Corn not just stealing from this movie?
Dude, sometimes Carradine's brain flames have to blow up Fred Williamson's head.
Seriously, though, man. This movie and Carnival, that's all Children of the Corn should have been. And I guess Children, it also needs some of that in there somewhere. But so that's artsy as fuck, and we're not even into the deaths yet. And I forgot about Alexander and the deaths. I didn't know, what I should be expecting, because the movie told me don't expect.
Right.
You know what the movie says before the first death? It says cut away. That's what the movie says.
Before the first death, the movie says get your blowjobs while you can.
Yeah, and it's it's harmless for how I almost feel like making fun of the movie at that point.
Yeah.
I feel like, the movie thinks it's doing something super fucked up, and it's got a little blowjob, and there's the head, and it's cute to me. It's quaint. Little do I know the movie's going to correct that problem pretty fucking fast. We get inside the house, and High Tension's been really coy about gore. It hasn't shown us anything. So, we get that moment where the killer comes in, and he shoves Daniel's head through the stairs. Kicks it or fucking forces it through the side of the staircase. And I kind of know what's coming when he gets down there. And so as he pushes the furniture up, and I'm thinking, all right, this is where the movie once again is just going to be really mainstream and cute, and maybe it'll make a funny sound when the head pops off, and everybody will kind of, grin and giggle. They show it. They show every awkward frictional second of that head coming off between the stairs, and the sounds and the blood and it hitting the floor and the angle from overhead. It is so, I don't even know if uncomfortable is the right word. That tiny moment there where you get, pushing the dresser up, and all of a sudden there's a moment where it kind of gets stuck. There's a little bit of friction, and then it comes off, and then the blood is just pouring down. You just keep thinking to yourself, did the movie really go there? It really showed me that.
And where's it going to stop?
That's
really?
Well, that's the inevitable question at that point. Well, and the very next one, I don't think is any better.
No, I think it's worse.
And I'm not sure exactly what about it is worse. You know what I mean? Is it the voyeuristic quality of it? Is it the, she goes upstairs, she's looking around for a phone. Marie, who's awesome. Marie, who up until this point has done basically nothing in the movie but masturbate in a wonderful, awesome scene that somehow I wasn't even going to talk about here. I don't know how I was going to gloss over that. But she's upstairs masturbating, having a good time. People are getting bludgeoned to death downstairs. It's already starting to remind me of the second Hostel, where we have all those weird, conflicting kind of feelings coming in. Yeah. The movie's saying, hey, up here, something sexy and cool is going on. And then the guy shows up downstairs. And so it almost interrupts that. Thankfully not. Almost interrupts that. And then the killing just begins right there. So after the chaos breaks out and we're upstairs, Maria's looking for a phone. And she can't fucking find one anywhere. And the subtitles are hilarious. And where's the phone? And it's really important that she gets to one. And so, she eventually hides in this closet. And rather than the killer coming in, the woman comes in. The mother comes in. And she finds the phone that Marie wanted. And then, she's coming towards the closet. She sees that. And behind her is the killer. And I think this is fucked up for a couple reasons. The first is that, honestly, that neck slice, I mean, the next slice is it's a staple of horror at this point. It's such a
death
convention.
cliche.
What is it? 90% of horror movies must have a next
Pretty
slice.
much. The other 10% are left unfound.
You have to get to the Wolf Creek jokes already, don't you? It might even be 100% of horror movies at this point. I don't know, man. This might be the best next slice I've ever seen.
I think it absolutely is.
And I don't even mean placement-wise. I just mean the effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the right level of meaty and it's sticky, too. Yeah. That's the worst part, is, he cuts it open, and it makes a little, it flutters.
Yeah.
It fucking flutters at you before it just starts spraying, and it's kind of chunky, and the skin folds away, and it just looks... I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's the kind of stuff we applauded Rambo for.
Yeah, that's true.
Way back when we did that show, is Rambo being almost nothing else but gorgeous, brilliant effects and relentless brutality. Rambo should almost be a fucking Splat Pack film.
Almost.
Not enough creepy music, probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a little bit too
many
serious
muscles
about the killing.
But the other part, and I mean, it's pretty obvious, the woman's coming toward her, and it's the last thing she sees, and their eyes are connecting, and it feels pretty fucked up. But that could have been her. That so easily could have been her, and, movie over. I mean, if we're following the movie's narrative up to this point. And so she's watching it, and it happens, and she's holding that fucking phone, right? And the blood is everywhere. And you're thinking, hey, good thing she didn't find the goddamn phone.
And then now the parents are dead, and the only one left is the little cowboy.
Yeah, right.
Who's running around. I guess he tries to vanish into the cornfield.
Yeah.
Only to be hunted down by a double-barrel shotgun and shot straight in the back and left for dead in the cornfield. Oh, there goes the little boy. Anyway, back to the house.
Yeah, and we're thinking, it's not going to show him. Of course it cuts back to him later, because as soon as we think we're safe from that, the movie just wants to rub it. It's not even that grotesque.
No.
It's just to rub it in.
It's just to say, no, he's dead, for sure. Don't worry about it. Definitely dead.
But this is the moment, I mean, my excitement for watching a film is never much higher than it is right this second as I'm watching this. Because we've already shot the dog at this point, right? The dog is completely dead, and as you know, great taboo of cinema, don't kill the dog, blah, blah, blah. But then we see the little kid running, and I'm starting to think back to all of these great horror movies that have happened, and that wager you make at that point, that bet you make with yourself where you think, are they going to kill the kid? Are they that ballsy? Are they teasing the audience? And sometimes, maybe even most times, even on our show, we're left a little unsatisfied here. But now I'm starting to, I'm almost laughing at the movie. I'm probably literally laughing out loud thinking, okay, he's going to kill the kid. This is Aya here we're talking about. Oh, gee, I wonder if the kid's going to die. He's going off in the cornfield. It's just a matter of
more
when
kids?
Yeah, it's just a matter of when and how is it going to happen. How awful is he going to make it? And, we don't see it at first and then we come back. But also, back now, inside the fucking house, it keeps cutting back to the blood on the closet door. And it just leaves you feeling so fucking used. You just feel dirty at that point.
Yeah.
This guy's just gone around creating this dirty, murderous house. And at this point, our female protagonist is more mentally fucked with than even physically fucked with. I mean, we don't know that he knows she's here.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's the case. She just happened to witness all of this completely fucked up stuff that happens.
And then the guy just kind of leaves it like a severed head that he just came in the mouth of.
Right. Maybe that's why I feel used at this point. And so Alex is out of the house now. Alex was still alive. Now she's out of the house. So they left in this truck. This thing is amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing about this truck that isn't amazing.
Absolutely, probably one of the most fantastic visual staples of the film.
So, favorite part of this, if you had to pick one.
Of the truck? I think my favorite part of the truck is when I'm watching it drive down the highway, screaming, "Don't be in the truck."
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, why is this truck on the highway?
Sure.
But
and it doesn't belong there at all.
I think possibly the best full scene with the truck is at the gas station.
Yeah.
Where Marie gets out and she's going to, kind of move toward the gas station, and you get the shot from over the truck and you hear the gas pump clicking every gallon.
Yeah, right.
And you're wondering, how many gallons does the tank hold?
Right. And it's been such a good moment up to this point because you're almost trapped. I mean, you're absolutely trapped in the truck. And they're going, hey, there's two of us. Everything will be okay. But you're trapped in the fucking truck, and that sucks. You have the, first of all, the sound the truck makes is amazing.
Yep.
It's just this tinny, awful sound. And it's dirty. It looks like, the 2003 Chop Shop horror room, the Hostel-esque horror room, but it's inside the back of a fucking truck. And you pan up, and you see all the blood and the scratches. And then the shit in the rearview mirror where the killer was cutting out something, and I thought the movie was going to do a lame thing where it like tries to tell us some backstory, but instead he's just collecting some little mementos, putting them in the rearview mirror, and it pans across and shows all this shit. And so you're out of the truck, you're happy, and the gallons are clicking down.
And then Marie hears the thing stop and just runs for it, and the camera shows how far she has to go, and it's so hopeless, and it's the biggest gas station in the entire fucking world at that point.
And so it's just go, go, go. And I don't know, at that moment as it's clicking down, I'm thinking maybe she's going to turn around. Maybe she's going to get back in the truck before it pulls away. And instead, she goes inside. And I guess that's probably the better move. But I don't even know. I mean, that's what the countdown is doing for me. That's where the anticipation goes. I'm thinking, is she going to bolt for the station, or is she going to cut her losses and come back to the truck? And she goes for this convenience store. And I love this whole convenience store scene, too. I mean, this is something I'm going to fucking remember forever. You have a totally different environment than the house. She comes in. You think maybe she's going to get some help. And, the guy comes in to pay for his gas before she can even make any sense of it. So now she's in this convenience store hiding, and Jimmy, our clerk, is hanging out and talking to the dude and is kind of fearful of him. They seem to have some rapport. They know each other. And it almost seems satirical to me, the music that's playing in the convenience store.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't go, obviously, with the mood of what's happening, but it keeps going. The score even tries to kick its ass a little bit. And when the score melts away and the horror stops happening, that stupid fucking music kicks back in. And you're building the suspense. You don't know. He's walking through the aisles. You don't know if he's going to encounter her, if he's even looking for her still. And then he ends up killing Jimmy. And this is what I love, is as he's going through these back stalls, as he's looking through this stuff, you don't know if he's just kind of scoping it. Because he had this whole conversation with Jimmy. Hey, this would be a great place to take a girl, right? And so at the time, I'm thinking, all right, there's our female lead right there. She's, hiding in the back, and Jimmy's fucking with her at this point.
Right.
Or not Jimmy, sorry, the killer's fucking with her. He's saying, hey, Jimmy, is there a girl in here that escaped from my truck that I should be killing? And then I start thinking, after he kills Jimmy, no, what he was doing is asking, hey, this would be a good place to rape the chick in my truck. So now he's still concentrating on Alex, and I'm thinking, does he know about Marie, or is he just talking about Alex? And he takes a leak and he leaves, and there's all this fucking tension with Marie, and then he's gone. And so I'm going, all right, he still doesn't know about Marie. He's still all about Alex. Doesn't even know Marie was in the house.
And that's when we get this weird kind of, it seems like it's going to be out of place, but for some reason Muse and hard badass roadsploitation just kind of finds its niche.
Isn't
right in
that
here.
Amazing?
So you essentially, what happens is
the lead up and the fucking crescendo.
Essentially what happens is he kills Jimmy, takes off. Marie grabs Jimmy's keys, gets in his fucking Dodge Nova, one of the ultimate muscle cars, right? There's the Charger, the Challenger, and the Nova.
Yeah.
And she gets in the fucking car and chases him down, complete with racing stripes.
Yeah.
While Newborn by Muse is playing, which is, I mean, okay, so Muse shouldn't make sense here either.
No, it
but
shouldn't.
It absolutely does. The only thing that I'm missing from this scene is I just want to see the cars start ramming each other while Newborn is playing.
I know.
But that's not the film. And that would have probably officially put it into, I would say, I don't know, Doomsday Zone.
Yeah, then it becomes too much. You mentioned The Hitcher with that great Nine Inch Nails piece that just kind of thrown in there. It would have become something a little bit too funny. But this feels like an empowerment moment. She has the car, she's ready to go. And Muse doesn't clash with the rest of the sound we've been getting. I mean, it's obviously a lot more contemporary. You can get away with that because they're in cars. The radio illusion kind of makes that all right. But up until this point, we've been getting, I mean, it's this mean, noisy sound. It's just layers of increasing machine noise, and it almost sounds like drills.
Yep.
And sometimes it gets really, really intense. Sometimes it drones in and out. It's sort of something I talked about a little bit back when we did Hard Candy, talking about those appliance noises, refrigerator noises, that kind of stuff. And it makes you feel, specifically in the house stuff, as if you're there with the protagonist and the sounds of violence in the other room. And there's nothing else there. We don't have a score to kind of wrap you in a nice, safe American horror blanket. We just have the agitating machine sounds. And that's all we get. That's our only comfort, is the fucking annoying, layered, intense sounds. Then there's the turn. Then there's the bullets in his hand. And you know that he knows about her.
Right.
That's the first moment. And they don't make a big deal out of it. He just has the bullets. She goes to fire at him. and the empowerment is suddenly absolutely gone. It was already gone a little bit when the truck appears behind her, and then it's like, oh, she's fucked. But she grabs the gun. She doesn't think she's fucked, and then there's no bullets. He's known all about her since at least the gas station and anticipated her every move. So the only scene beyond that I just really want to credit is that final kill, or the final kill of the killer, I guess. You know, they're strangling each other and the plastic is in there and it's fucking uncomfortable. I mean, it's one of the most brutal scenes, even though the gore isn't the highest.
Right.
I think it's because of that weapon, that bludgeoning weapon.
The fence post with the barbed wire wrapped around it.
Awful. And the way she's wrapping it and she rips it out. This is the third or fourth weapon we've seen her take up. At the very least, it was the knife and the handgun, which were, total failures. And then we get this weapon, and then she's not going to use it. The killer has the upper hand, but she bludgeons him in the fucking face with the strangulation of the plastic wrap, which makes it even worse because she eventually pulls the plastic wrap back up, and it's all again the sticky and the gross and the gore and the
and
effects
there's bits of plastic jammed in the holes in his face.
Oh,
and it's all just done. Basically what would happen is if you would imagine getting hit in the face through plastic with barbed wire wrapped around a fence post.
God.
That's what it looks like. It looks the way that feels.
You know what it really reminded me of? Some of those Halloween 2 kills, the H2 ones. When we talked about Rob Zombie's second remake sequel thing, I still don't have a good designation
Sequel
for
to
that.
the remake.
Yeah, right. Thank you. That. And how some of the Michael Myers kills were just relentless. They were just over and over.
The nurse killer
so
scene.
much more than they need to be. He's just kicking people's corpses. They haven't been breathing for 20 minutes. And that's the kind of fucking kill this is. And it's beautiful. And the movie could end here.
It should.
Now, we went ahead and watched Wolf Creek second. And before we move into Wolf Creek, that gave me some time to cool down. Because after we saw High Tension, I was pretty pissed.
Yeah. Well, and and also that we should note that I really like High Tension up until this point. And the end of the film is why High Tension for me it's not a great, fantastic achievement in film for me.
Because the end just fucking discredits itself so much.
It's a terrible
choice.
I
mean, minus this end of High Tension. And the reason we should talk about it on the show, the reason we're putting it on here, is it is a glorious, A-plus class film. One of my favorite films we've done all year, with the exception of this odd thing that happens at the end. And I was prepared for a lot of odd shit. It's French, weird shit happens. We talked about martyrs. Any wild thing could happen, and it's not very wild what happens. Right. It's pretty mundane. So that I don't go off on a big, awful tangent, because most of what High Tension does is amazing and the best of its class, and I wanted to focus on that. I wrote down a couple short, specific things.
Great.
And this is all I want to say about it. I think that the movie does a disservice to itself. I think it doesn't give itself enough credit. And I know I lobbied the House of the Devil with the same thing. But this isn't that, House of the Devil. I'll live with that. I look back to the ending of that, and I know we said, there's a place maybe if it ended, it would have been a little bit better. I don't fucking care. Yeah, it's fine. That's a fine ending.
Yeah.
Ty West knows what he's doing. Who the fuck am I? And that's still true in this case. It's still who the fuck am I, and I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But, so we get this kind of Fight Club moment, right?
Basically what happens is it turns out Marie is the killer, and somehow she can drive 2 cars simultaneously and knows people that she doesn't know and is able to be in 2 places at once for the majority of the film.
Best friends with Jimmy. She walked in the door at Jimmy's gas station scared. Jimmy reacted to her, but then she was the big dude that Jimmy had some kind of
It absolutely makes no fucking sense.
Okay. And this, if this were just Fight Club, it would be awful. It would be awful. But it would be what I've come to expect. I'm ready for movies, especially in 2003, to go, oh, hey, they're the same person. That happens sometimes, and I can go, haha, what a funny year that this movie was made in. But it's not that. The continuity doesn't fucking line up. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. You go back through the movie a second time, and you just have to pretend that these certain scenes didn't happen in the way they're shown you. Completely unreliable cinematographer. That's what this mechanism is. It's as if the movie didn't give a shit about that. Right. It said, no one will ever watch me twice. Let's just pretend. It didn't even bother to go back through and show that those scenes didn't happen in the way that they happened. It didn't even use that awful mechanism. It just said, fuck it, that's not really what happened. And all right, even at that point, there might be an excuse here. There might be a way that I get over this, because I was almost ready to get over this as the next 10 minutes were unfolding in front of me. But I'm thinking to myself, why would they do this? And the only reason I can come up with is betrayal. Alex feels betrayed by Marie, and so now we want the audience to feel betrayed, like they were also lied to. I can kind of understand that, but if you're going to do this, don't pull your punches now. The very next thing they do is stop showing Marie and start showing the killer again.
Yep.
Why would they do this?
There's no reason.
Why the fuck would you do this?
I don't know, but apparently everybody's okay with it.
I mean, are you with me on this? Would this still pass? Maybe if we were able... It would still be better if we were able to see her and Alex spar off.
I'm
right?
kind of off the boat by this point.
Yeah, you just don't give a shit.
I don't care what
After the
happens.
gas station, there's no saving it
after
for you.
After you see Marie kill Jimmy, I don't give a shit. I do not care.
Oh, you mean the surveillance footage?
Yeah.
Right. The second time that if there were no second gas station, just the first gas station. Yeah, so that last 10 minutes, you think there's no saving that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just want the movie to be okay so much. I will accept so much fucking French from the movie. I'm even thinking at this point, fuck all your continuity, whatever, it's artsy, I'll pretend it didn't happen, but now you're showing me this killer. And it does two awful things. One, that makes the killer less of this figure that he was, because he looks goofy now. He looks fucking stupid, and how did he get back up? And why are we going back to him? And the whole thing, I'm just ready to ignore it and play with the new rules. But the movie doesn't let me. I'm ready to see Marie and Alex spar. I'm ready to see her holding that giant... I mean, that's the whole reason you would do this, to build up to that. To suddenly say, all right, now we're going to see this tiny, frail girl. That's the big fucking French twist on the movie, is the whole movie she's been running away. Now we're going to see her wield these giant, heavy weapons that don't even make any sense and, kill the other girl, or at least fight the other girl. And instead, we just get the big guy until she's, ready to die at the end.
The thing that pisses me off most about the ending is that other people think it's okay.
Right.
That for some reason, High Tension gets rave reviews from everyone as if they've never seen the ending of the film. I don't understand how masses of people are okay with this heinous bastardization of wonderful art.
Yeah, no one seems to even bring it up.
It's like nobody's seen the actual film. It's like everybody stopped watching.
Yeah, everybody stopped at that moment. We're looking around at each other as if we got some fucked up copy. Netflix screwed up.
For me, it's like the theater was showing an extra reel.
Yeah, the uncut version has some stupid ending that the producer... I just couldn't imagine that this was actually happening, that was fucking with this, what was otherwise a wonderful movie, and that no one had ever mentioned this.
Yeah.
No one had ever... I don't have a problem giving this movie a rave review because it accomplishes so much up to that point. I don't give a shit what it does at the end. But you can't tell somebody, oh, High Tension, that's an incredible film. You have to say something like, oh, High Tension, I enjoyed the first hour and 25 minutes of that film. Right. I mean, there's some kind of, you have to end it. Fuck. All right, whatever. We just needed to say it. So now other people who watch that, who are in the same boat, which I assume is actually everyone, but for some reason nobody said it. Yeah. Or maybe this really is just a secret version that
I've seen twice.
Oh, fuck. Bravo, High Tension. You are way better than you give yourself credit for. So now we'll go into Wolf Creek. Can I just say straight off the bat that some might accuse Wolf Creek of ending, I don't know, let's say abruptly.
Yeah.
Because it does just sort of end.
It seems like it just kind of ends.
And after High Tension, I don't think there's any point where Wolf Creek could have ended where I said that's too soon.
Yep, that's true.
I think the ending was probably abrupt and perfect.
Yep.
I think it was too soon and also the exact moment that it needed to end. Thank you, Wolf Creek, for giving yourself more credit than High Tension gave itself.
The reason we're doing Wolf Creek is because it's Greg McLean's first film. Greg McLean is he's the straggler splat pack guy that we haven't gotten to cover. We haven't covered the Saw guys, and that's because for some unbeknownst reason we just haven't covered the Saw guys. But Greg McLean is... I've seen Wolf Creek, I've seen Rogue. The motherfucker does blood. I mean, he does the shit. He's just an Aussie. That's his niche. He does Aussie horror. Right. No one else does that. He does it really well. And Wolf Creek is a fantastic fucking example of what Aussie horror would look like in the survival horror genre.
Oh, it certainly is. I might be alone on this, but I watched this movie and go, what the fuck is everyone saying? There's this ignorant American part of me. I just can't understand accents. I needed subtitles on this one, too.
Yeah.
Where were my Apple TV subtitles?
So the thing about Wolf Creek that it's both interesting and kind of strange for a horror film is that the first half, pretty much nothing happens.
No, nothing at all.
The whole first half of the film is some teens on vacation. They got a camera. They're getting in trouble at the bar, and they're taking their shirts off, playing guitar, having a good time. You're kind of just getting to know that these are just normal human beings, and then they end up at a meteor crater.
Yeah, so I mean, we're back to the days of Monster Man. We're doing the Hatchet stuff. We mentioned Children of the Corn earlier. I had to bring that up during High Tension, but I think it was the fifth one, right? What did it have? Blow up dolls or something?
Yeah, blow up dolls for the finding people. I don't remember.
It felt like the beginning of that, or Hills
Ava
Have
Mendes.
Eyes, or all of that stuff. It's just that teens on the road, hanging out, and later it would completely defy all the conventions of that. I guess even during that point, because we're shooting in Australia, we're exploiting this wonderful scenery we have. It's these super expansive shots. They're wide open, they look gorgeous, and everything is really casual. It's a kind of movie where you can soak in the scenery and it doesn't feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not art house, here's a big shot of some openness so that later we'll know how fucked we are. Although it does accomplish that as well. Instead, everything just looks beautiful. Looks like a great spot to have a vacation. Everybody's having fun. There is, next to that bar scene, no inkling that anything will go wrong. For a while, I don't even believe anything's going to go wrong. And I started to think we paired this poorly.
Right. And one thing that absolutely doesn't go wrong is anything with aliens or space.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, well, that was the other thing, and I love that because they had that conversation about the UFO close to the ground or whatever.
And then they go to the meteor crater, and there's all these Star Wars,
which
Star
also
Trek
looks
references.
awesome.
Yeah,
by the way, yeah, we have to round all the bases of sci-fi references. But then the car shows up. The car shows up, and they flip out. I guess they don't flip out because they think they're all going to be stabbed to death or eaten by cannibals or what have you. But instead, they flip out because they think it's an alien spacecraft. And so when it's not an alien spacecraft, all of that is dispelled.
Yep.
Now, as an audience, don't we still know that this guy is going to kill them?
Yeah.
I mean, don't we have to know that?
Well, so here's the thing, and this is a credit to John Jarrett, who plays...
Fuck yeah, Mick Taylor.
Right. He shows up, and everybody... I saw this in the theater, too. I see everything in the theater. But...
Were these movies in 3D?
Yeah, they weren't in 3D. They were filmed in 3D. Everybody was in 3 dimensions.
I hate you.
So this guy shows up, and I remember in the theater thinking, oh, this guy's going to kill them. He's clearly going to kill... He's a weird backwood... He's got a hat.
He's the other guy in the movie. There's been 3 people in the movie, and now there's a 4th person. An hour into the movie, he's going to kill them.
Right. But instead, within 10, 15 minutes of meeting this guy, I'm thinking this is going to be the first guy to die, and you're going to think he's going to defend them. But some aboriginal cannibals are going to storm this camp because this guy's too nice.
Right.
This guy's got all the bases covered. He's got guns. He's got a hat. Who doesn't love a guy with a hat?
Yeah, right.
Turns out he outacts my brain.
Oh, man.
John Jarrett outacts my fucking brain and ends up being a total sicko.
Yeah, he just spends all this time convincing you of how nice he is. And you start lying to yourself. You start thinking... well, maybe he knows all this stuff about knives and guns and whatever because he's going to save them. That's what it is. Because he's going to be the fucking Ahab. He's going to show up and save them. Or, like you said, you're even a step ahead of where you think the movie's going, even though the movie's 2 steps ahead of you. You're thinking, all right, someone's going to come to kill them. And by killing Mick first, the killer's going to show what an unpredictable, badass, crazy, psycho cannibal, whatever alien thing it is.
Exactly.
And that these kids have no chance. And they're just going to be running for their lives, and we're going to be scared shitless the rest of the film. And once we get back to his camp, and I'm thinking, all right, this is where we're at, stuff's going to get weird, I start thinking to myself, I really don't want to see these kids die. I mean, that's kind of the effect of spending more time with them than we normally would in a movie. Even in the movies I mentioned earlier, the Monster Man kind of movies. You know, we like our protagonists. We don't care that much about our protagonists. But this, I mean, I kind of feel like we're watching Frozen.
Sure. You feel like, well, yeah, you feel like we're watching some kids that are on a college trip.
Yeah, and they're personable, and they like each other, and they're
human.
harmless. They're fucking human. They're people we know at this point. We've spent so long with them, we know them. but not to the point where they're invincible because nobody's died.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, this isn't the kind of thing where we had 8 kids and some of them are jackasses and one plays practical jokes. This isn't the Jason kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
These are 3 kids and we like all fucking 3 and they're sweet and they're nice and they like each other. And I'm really thinking I would much rather this movie just ended right now than anything bad happen to these kids.
Right.
I just happen to encounter their stupid, we went to Australia, aren't we cool video footage, and this is the end of the movie, and we're done now. But they go to bed, and after they go to bed, nothing is the same. So this is the convention the movie uses that I think is really, really interesting. It follows one at a time.
Yep.
And you don't know that at first.
Yeah.
At first I think, wow, this is really unique. We're waking up, it's just the girl.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck happened to the other 2? Where are the other 2? She goes to find the other girl, and now I'm thinking, well, where did the guy go?
Yep.
And it's just her and the girl, and they're going to try and get out, and maybe she'll die and the girl will live and get away, or they're going to fight him off, or I'm trying to figure out where the fuck the movie's going from here. And they're doing surprisingly well against him. They get away from him almost too easy. It seems like for as much as we think this guy is the ultimate badass at this point, she's able to get in there and point the gun at him, and it happens to be loaded, unlike he said, and she fucking shoots him, and he goes down. And we keep waiting for him to get back up. I mean, do you think this guy's getting back up?
At first, this again, it's the thing where I'm like, yeah, he probably is. And then I go, maybe he's not. And it turns out there's something worse outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There's something worse outside. But there's never anything worse outside. It's just this fucking guy.
It's just that he keeps getting worse, is
Yeah,
what it
right.
is.
Right. He becomes the thing that we thought was worse outside. It turns out it's just him, and he's still here. And I love this because it makes him human. It makes him just as human as they are, although a fucking awful human being. He was really nice before, we were impressed with him. He's terrifying when he turns. When he starts screaming at her about the rifle, I mean, that's fucking terrifying. But he's still a human being. He gets shot in the air and he falls down, and he falls down a long fucking time. And he manages to grab a gun, but it's a gun. It's a fucking shotgun. It's not Ninja Stars. He shoots at the window, he misses, he's fucking bleeding all over the place. And eventually the girl doesn't get away.
Yep.
Chop off the fingers, and it's brutal and awful. And
then head on a stick.
Oh, God, terrible. And then the other one wakes up.
Then
we're
best.
Following the other one.
This is the best part of the movie for me.
Oh, my God.
It's no secret that I'm a big, I like cars on the road. And Cars on the Road in Australia is apparently about as fucking awesome as it gets. Because really, when you're shooting Cars on the Road in Australia, you're not shooting anything else.
No.
There are only cars and road.
Yep. Dirt, dust, nothing. There's a vast nothingness. Although there's a sniper rifle in this case.
Yeah, so there's this scene where the girl kind of gets away. She's been led away. They've dumped the truck. And she finally makes it to the road. And we see a car pull up, and again, the movie tries to preempt us. And you thought it. I know you thought it.
Of course
you think Mick's going to be in the car. His truck got wrecked, so he had to use one of the various other vehicles he just has in a barn.
Well, because it's that great, again, another convention, just as much as the next slice. We have the deserted on a road, car pulls up.
Yeah.
And every time a car pulls up, you have that scene where they're staring at the car. You know what they're thinking. You're thinking the same thing. This is either it's really the same fucking thing they were thinking when they thought it was a spaceship.
Yep.
We're not doing anything different here. It just appears completely different because now we know the spaceship is fucking real. And so the car's coming toward her, and of course you're thinking, is he in the car? Is it worth it? Should she run away or should she flag the car down? And as she's considering it, the decision always makes itself, right? Because you've waited too long. The car's seen you. If it's him, he fucking knows. If it's not him, you run away and then you're fucked. So you have to stand there.
Yeah. So essentially, car pulls up, happens to be a friendly passerby. He puts her in the back of the car, and he puts a thermos on top of the car and then leans back into the trunk. And when he stands back up, there's a bullet hole in the thermos, and it's leaking all over his car. And that's the point where you go, she's fucked. And as soon as you say that, as soon as your brain forms the ED at the end of that verb, blood splatters on the window, old man dead, and somehow Mick has managed to turn a sniper rifle into an effective slasher weapon because he doesn't take the easy way out. He pops the tire, chases her down, And it's basically, he doesn't actually use it on her until there's no more fun to be had.
Well, I love that mechanism. The sniper rifle makes it so that when she leaves the car, she's in danger immediately. It's not really a lot different than the other slasher kind of traps that we have. Knowing the slasher's in a room and you have to go in the room to get the key to get out of the other room that's attached to it. I mean, it's that same fucking thing. And so she has to get out of this car, and he could shoot her at any point, but she doesn't really have a choice. She has to go get the keys. So it's just another one of those moments that's awful. She's outside, and you know at any second that could be it, and it's awful. And the movie's showing you that that could really be it. He might really do it. But he comes up close to, to make the final kill. And as she gets out of the car, shoots her in the goddamn back. And then goes up and goes for the closer kill, which has less reverb on it, which I like quite a bit. It just feels a little more final. Took care of her. And so now I'm thinking, great, everyone's finally died, so I can wash away the awful feeling this film has given me about humanity. Oh, but that's not it.
Right.
Then the dude's still alive.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey, look at that guy.
He wakes up crucified, and he has to separate himself from whatever crucifixion post he has
that's
found
awful.
himself on.
And there's a mean dog who just happens to be there.
I hate angry dogs. And then he wanders out into the desert, which has already been established is vast and impossible to find your way through.
Right. I'm surprised anybody has gotten anywhere at this point. I guess they haven't. I guess the dude has always come to find them.
And so that's what you think, right? He passes out on the side of the road. You see a shadow, and you go, "Oh, here we go. This is Mick coming to take care of business." And you see the hat.
Yeah,
the once evil, once friendly, now definitely evil hat.
Right.
But
Turns
it's not
out
Mick.
Not evil anymore.
And he gets away.
Totally. Yeah, he gets away. The end. And, at this point, I'm so used to everybody being fucked. I'm so used to that Splat Pack convention that when he gets away, I'm thinking, what? This is the twist ending that the movie is already over. The twist ending is that we're not going to see a third episode of this guy getting brutally tortured as much as the other people. He just manages to make it home and everything's all right.
And the thing is that doesn't bring Mick down. It's just that guy got away. Nobody found the bodies. Nobody found Mick.
Right.
Mick walks off into the desert, gets to keep doing it.
Yeah, they make a point of letting you know the terror is still out there. Thanks, movie.
Yeah, thanks Splat Pack, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
All right, if you want to go check out other Splat Pack shit that we've done, go to
doublefeatureshow.com. That was the website.
That's the website. If you happen to be part of the Splat Pack, or you think you have suggestions for directors Adam Green that should be in the Splat Pack, why don't you email us? That's doublefeatureshow@gmail.com.
I don't know who got to pick who's in the Splat Pack, but that person needs to get a hold of us and recommend some more movies. That'd be awesome. We have a Facebook page you can get on to talk to us about said movies in a more friendly, social, kind of Big Brother, creepy kind of way. And that's always a good time. And then there's donate.doublefeatureshow.com. So you go on there, you give some money, and then you maybe get to pick some movies we do at the end. We're going to pick out 2 people who've donated through the site, and we're going to let them pick movies. We're going to pair those 2 movies up. We're going to do them at the very end of the year, and I'm sure they will both be painfully bad. Thank you, Podmanity.
Absolutely.
So we're going to do some more movies next time.
Yeah, we are.
We need to just keep turning 90-degree fucking corners here.
All right, so let's go back to the 1930s.
Can I just, before we, thank you for this double feature. This was amazing. I really enjoyed the fuck out of both of these movies. They were tremendously good. I will never get sick of doing these bullshit 2003 horror films. All right, 1930s. We're going back. A
We're going to do A Night in Casablanca, which is a Marx Brothers movie that involves Nazis. And then we're going to do The Great Dictator, which is a Charlie Chaplin movie that involves Nazis. I guess it's not the 30s, because Nazis in the 30s don't actually go hand in hand too super well.
These sort of factual errors are what you have to look forward to next time on Double Feature.
Watch more fucking film.
Bye.
About right.
So let's just get into High Tension. I feel like I have a lot to say about High Tension, although most of it is, wow, look how amazing this is.
Right.
Do you mind if I geek out on you for just a second?
Please.
Well, we've seen on the show a lot of times movies with subtitles. This is oddly the first time we've watched anything with subtitles on the second generation Apple TV. It seems like most of the time we watch stuff on subtitles, it's on your DVDs.
Right.
And we just play them through the Xbox and we get the nice giant subtitles. So the movie's in 235 to 1. And I have I don't know if I've ever told you this. A lot of the movies I enjoy with subtitles, I will often watch, I kid you not, without the subtitles. Because I'm a cinematography person, and a lot of foreign movies I really like for the cinematography. I've seen them a bunch. I watch them without the subtitles so I can get the whole frame. It's just it's a weird thing, and if there's stuff at the bottom of the frame, I feel like I'm missing out on something. On the new Apple TV, and especially because of the aspect ratio, we were able to watch it with these tiny subtitles, so I could see every brilliant fucking pixel of this movie. I am so excited about it.
But Alex Aja, of all of them, I think is the poster child for super gore.
Oh my
God, if I
so
can go
fucking
ahead and
brutal.
say that.
For people who may be familiar with some of the other stuff we've covered and just kind of veered away from the foreign stuff, the Splat Pack is essentially the foreign extension of old school American horror. And that's not always true. We've had a lot of things that counteract that right away. We have stuff like Saw, lots of sequels. We have The Hills Have Eyes, clearly a remake. And we have this movie, which is foreign. Yeah. So while it's not a Japanese one, it is
Mirrors is
foreign.
a Japanese one.
Yeah, so there. Doesn't count. Does not count fulfilling the old school American horror genre classification. However, if you're into that stuff, this is the shit right here. This is completely it. And Alexander's stuff especially is just so much more brutal than everything. It is fucking brutal. And that's really what I want to focus on, is that brutality today, because I feel like High Tension, it just needs to be applauded. It's so hard for the brutality and the way it treats that, and especially when you...
Well, boys, looks like you started the fun without me.
You're all sick. Every last one of you.
We're going to need a bigger gun.
What's the matter? You scared of things that go boom, boom?
Give me one goddamn reason why I shouldn't blow your goddamn brains all over that goddamn wall.
Oh, High Tension.
My name is Eric, and I'm here. That was Michael.
Yeah.
And we got a fucking show today.
Yeah, we do.
Can I be honest with you? I am so excited for this show.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So, we're doing some movies. What are the movies?
We're going to do High Tension and Wolf Creek.
Fuck, I have been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long to do both of these, and I didn't even know about both of them. I've been waiting a long time to do High Tension. I'd actually never seen High Tension.
I had.
And and you were a little lackluster on it. And we're going to get to that. But High Tension, an awesome movie, right?
High Tension, yeah, great movie.
Me, you, and the ending of High Tension are going to have a little chat.
That's right.
But we're doing High Tension, and we're doing Wolf Creek as well. So I'd like to let everyone know we're going to spoil it.
Yeah,
that's
we
probably
are.
a good thing to do. We're going to spoil the ending of High Tension because we need to talk about that fucking ending. And you know what? If you usually disregard this notice and you listen anyways, I'm going to say that us telling you the ending will probably ruin the film because you're going to view it way different than you would a normal...
It ruins the movie.
Yeah, it's a Splat Pack extravaganza here today.
That's what we're doing today.
And some people are going to go, oh, Splat Pack, I don't care if I hear how people get mauled. I'm still going to watch it. It'll be great. But you watch it different the second time around. So at least fucking see it. So you know what? You haven't seen it now. Skip, use chapters, go directly to Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek, that's another spoiler one, man. We're going to spoil that movie, I would say exactly 3 times. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, 3 times sounds...
About that. So who's the dude? Who made this?
This is Alexander Aja's first film. It's also, I think, the first one that he actually had anything to do with the writing of.
Sure.
Oh, we talked about him when we did The Hills Have Eyes. We talked about him when we did P2.
Yeah.
He also did Piranha 3D, which came out over summertime. And he's involved with another Kiefer Sutherland movie that no one's allowed to
Doing
hear
lots
about.
of stuff. Doing lots of stuff.
Busy guy.
And this has to be of the people we've talked about in the infamous Splat Pack. We should go ahead just once more for recognition's sake.
Yeah.
We're talking about Mr. Robert Zombie.
Yes.
We're talking about Eli Roth. Who else is in this glorious Splat Pack?
Well, Neil Marshall, Doomsday, Descent, Dog Soldiers.
Excellent.
The Saw guys. James Wan and the Leigh McNeil or whatever his name is.
Darren Lynn Bousman.
And then Darren Bousman, who's the third Saw guy.
Yeah, right.
Who also did Repo, which we talked about on the show.
Which is oddly probably not a Splat Pack film.
Right.
But while we're talking about stuff like Doomsday, we might as well just throw Repo in there too.
Alex Aja, who is High Tension, and Greg McLean, who is Wolf Creek.